I really was going through some really bad DTs at the age of 24. And I was really confused on like, why am I sweating for 2 weeks? Why?
How much had you been drinking at
Oh,
this stage?
excuse me. Yeah. Yeah. At this stage, I was drinking about a bottle and a pint to go to bed. And if it wasn't that, this was for 2 years straight. Once I picked up that one beer, it was a bottle every night to every other night, depending on my funds and how I was feeling. And if it wasn't that in hard liquor form, then it was about six 640s and like 3 tall cans. So as much as it's a lot. Like, I don't stop, but I feel like, that's just what I do. And I'm like, this is supposed to be like what I'm supposed to do, like drink as much as I can. And yeah, I was going through some really bad DTs. For the first time. Yeah, I was sweating for about 2 weeks. My mental state was off. Everything was like, I didn't have hallucinations. I did have the hearing, like, stuff, but it wasn't as bad as like a lot of people explain it to be. They gave me the basics, clonidine and GABA. My blood pressure was through the roof. And yeah, so it was like, it wasn't the greatest shaking. Yeah, it really wasn't the best feeling ever. And yeah, so after that 30 days over there, I established a support group that was out here that told me not to move back to Fairfield. And I said, whatever, I'm going to go back to Fairfield. I don't have money. I don't have funds to like get an SLE or whatever. And that lasted about 5 months. I did the isolation, the cross-addicting with video games. I went from playing only 2 hours of video games to 15 to 16 hours just so I could like get that feel or whatever, and overdo a lot of energy drinks. I mean, that's just what I thought was like normal or that I could get away with. That started to become bad because my dad noticed, like, you're not doing anything. I ended up getting my old job back, and within 3 months of having my old job back, I was drinking again, and that went on for about 2 months, which threw me back in. That got me back into residential.
What was it? Was it your own? Like, did you reach a breaking point yourself? Did you have outside? Was your dad like encouraging you? Like, what was that kind of, like that moment where you're like, I have to go back?
Oh, so I didn't want to go back. I was willing to choose the booze over a bed. I was willing to go and squat, because I found those spots where I can be safe and not have to deal with anybody's shit and do my own thing. That's idiotic, but that's where my mind was at. I wanted to keep going. I didn't want to stop my 2-month little run. That was a little run. But when I picked up from that it was 240s from the first time I picked up to the next day. I'm drinking about 640s again. To my buddy that I was drinking with wouldn't let me drink hard alcohol because he knows how I get, and it made sense. But I would drink when I had days off, hard alcohol at my house. So that's just how it was for me, and that was already a bad combo from the gate. And it was more being told that I'm going back because he doesn't want to see me die before he passes.
I really want to stress that, I've heard you describe that behavior as idiotic, and what you had done at the job as when you were on the bridge and stuff as immature. And I really hope that you are able to accept that you're neither of those things, that's what our addictions do to us. And when we're active in our addictions, that that's not who we really are. You know what I mean? And we all do things that we're embarrassed and ashamed isn't even like we shouldn't feel ashamed, but like I hope you get that, like it's not who you are, it's who alcohol turns you into. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what was that? Was this the most recent time in treatment when you were kind of pressured back into it?
Yeah, pressured back into it. Yeah. This is my most recent time. I just got out. I don't even remember when I got out, but I did. I got in 6/12, 6/11, and then I did 2 months from there. So
Was this was at the camp?
the
right?
camp, and every time I've gone to every residential, even from adolescent to now, it has been the camp. So it's very strange how I just keep going back, but this time I've done something different, and that's not going back home. And so, yeah.
What was, between all those different times, especially it's kind of an interesting case study because they've all been the same treatment center. So how was each time different? And would you say it's specifically coming, like coming to the Galt House and, the work you've done since you've been here, that makes this time like different, or is it like basically what have you learned from each of those different experiences?
Okay. From the first time, it was that, I'm still young, and, I have a chance to stop. Didn't. The second time was, I learned that once I opened up a little bit and talked about like what was going on, I started to feel a little bit better. But the moment I start to close in and I stop being open, I go down, and I fall really bad. And this recent time was that I can establish friendships, build rapport with people, and be myself to a degree. But when it comes down to when you sum everything all up into like the recovery aspect, it's that this time I'm doing the steps, have a sponsor, and I'm doing all that stuff. The other 2 times was just like I just brushed it off. Said it's not necessarily that I said I don't need it, I just didn't want it.